scalable do you think something like Audia is?
I think Audia can have 20 billion users. I think Audia is pretty scalable. So when I think of scale, when I think of a tech product, I think of something that can be used by a lot of people, something that can be used by a lot of people in a meaningful way, meaning the retention on the people that use it is pretty high. And then I think of the amount of people that would use it as a means for them to find something they're not finding in another place. I think that's what makes tech products really scalable. So if we think of something like YouTube, the reason it's one of the biggest scalable products ever for consumers is because it's an easy place to post your videos. Even if you're not a professional video creator, if you're like a school and you need to show like a welcome video to the freshmen of high school, you put it on YouTube, everyone knows what YouTube is, and you just watch it right there. That's actually quite phenomenal, the fact that Google has normalized that product in every facet of our lives and it's used for everything. So when I think of something like Audia, I think of the millions of content creators that exist today, and there's a lot of niches of them. I think there's motivational speakers, I think there's podcasters, I think there's musicians, there's sports broadcasters, there's real estate agents, there's poets, there's comedians, there's general sort of people who have ideas on life. You could call them quote unquote TED talkers. I think there's all these people that have all these ideas that are rooted in audio format. And for them to access distribution, they have to post their content in a place where other people can find it and, more importantly, get it recommended to them. All of them can obviously build up a following and then drive traffic to the audio content. The chicken and the egg problem is, how do you build up that audience? And building up that audience requires using another social platform. So inevitably, the audience is going to come to you somewhere. There has to be one platform where organically people are finding you. It's literally impossible to just have 10,000 people care about you unless they find you somewhere. Even if you pay for it through ads, they have to find you somewhere on some platform. So the same problem exists for all these types of content creators that I mentioned, which is that they are lacking distribution massively, particularly for their audio content. What Audia can do from a scalability perspective is, if we can allow the musicians of the world to access our platform as a means of distributing their content and give them an audience on the backside of the content that they post, of the music that they post, then there is a bigger opportunity for them to find an audience organically. Same thing for poets, podcasters, comedians, etc. The other reason I think it's actually a lot more scalable than some of the other platforms is it's an organic feed rooted in audio. So when you think of something like Twitter or Instagram and you're promoting an audio product, you're promoting it on a platform that's not meant to promote audio, right? You're meant to promote videos or clips or small little word bites in your head. That can drive traffic to a product, but that's not built for that product. It's why YouTube is the king of video, even though Facebook allows you to upload video, because people don't go to Facebook to watch videos per se. I know people do watch videos on Facebook, but that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be connecting with your family, which is why Facebook's in an identity crisis right now, because people don't know what to use it for. So when you build a product that's meant to show a certain type of content, the individual creators and consumers of that product interpret that product in a certain way, and that facilitates the ability for that product to actually be used in the way that you want it to be used. The way I think about Audia is if you're saying, hey, here's a feed of audio, we want you to come back every day to scroll through and find something to listen to, discover something that you would enjoy consuming, or listen to the same person you've been listening to on the platform because now you're a fan of them, then that would create the daily habit for people to scroll. That scrolling creates the impressions capability of the platform to show new people to you. And as a result of seeing new people, they at least enter into your consciousness. And when they enter into your consciousness, you're like, oh, maybe I'll give this person a chance and give them my attention. And if we can facilitate that day trading of attention, that supply and demand of attention happening at scale, then I think the product really becomes scalable. Now, the problem with scaling this product is you need that idea to be internalized by millions of people. You need all the podcasters of the world to feel that posting their content on this platform creates a level of opportunity for them. And you need consumers to feel that there is enough content for them to scroll through in order for them to find meaningful content every single day for them to come back to. I've downloaded a bunch of new apps over the past couple of months, and I've literally used them daily. Even if I'm not a big consumer, I've given myself the daily habit of checking the product and seeing, giving the product even a chance of if it can hook me on a daily basis. So there's about like 10 to 15 apps I check on a regular basis outside of like the big apps just to see what they're doing, just to see how they're serving me content, how they're getting better at recommending things. And it's a difficult challenge. These are companies that have raised hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a really difficult thing for them to still put something in front of you that wants to keep your attention. So I think what solves that problem is the ability to get a lot of people discovered. And when they feel as if they're getting discovered, it becomes a FOMO race, the fear of missing out, where hundreds of millions of people at that point feel that their content should be somewhere where it's going to eventually find a home or find a greater arbitrage of attention than it would find on an existing platform. And it's just about communicating that message. That's it. That's literally it when it comes to scaling it.
How do you plan on communicating that?
I plan on doing this. I mean, as you know, as simple as it sounds, and you know, we've been struggling trying to figure out how to communicate that message, which is the problem for everybody. I plan on just keep explaining what we can do. And you know, I think this is a good problem to have. The worst problem is having something that's not even meant to be communicated. You know, I think that's the overarching problem that most startups have, where it's like, is this even meant to go out into the world? And you know, it's still subjective, but I fundamentally believe if this hits the scale we want it to hit, there's just millions of people that will instantly recognize. Because I've done this with sample sizes. Instantly, people realize, oh, this is what the product is meant for. It's what it's used for. Some people don't get it. A lot of people do get it. And you just need to hope a lot more people get it than people that don't get it. And the people that don't get it, to be honest, they're going to recognize how much value it is once it hits scale. I was talking to one guy once back in 2021, and I asked him, I was like, hey, you know, he liked the product a lot. He was thinking of setting his podcast up there. And I was like, what do you think about like Spotify and Apple and the big guys? And like, do you think, you know, people would actually come to use the product? And he was like, people will come wherever they think there is an opportunity. That's it. He's like, you don't have to worry about the competitors, because if you are able to communicate that there is an opportunity that is different from those competitors, people will come, and they will come in troves. There was a video I watched the other day of a girl who launched a Shopify store. And she ran a campaign with some ads or whatever or on her Instagram. And it was just showing the sales pop up one by one by one. And she did like $3 million in 12 hours. And it was just insane because it's like the internet is really big. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things. And the scale, it's still underestimated in our head that there's 4 billion people online. Like that are using the internet every single day and buying products and services, consuming stuff, all this stuff. You don't need to have a product that has 3 billion people on it like Google Chrome. You need to have a product that's valuable to a small subset of the internet, which is still millions of people, and that product becomes incredibly valuable. And the millions of audio creators that exist on the planet, when they feel as if there's a home for their content, they will run to it. It's that simple. The case study for why this is true is Clubhouse. Clubhouse was a live audio app that got millions, I think about 15, 20 million people within like 3 months in 2020, because people thought it was the next big thing. They thought it was the next big thing. It's just, oh, it's in audio format. That's fine. I have a bunch of videos in audio. I have a bunch of articles I can read in audio. Let me just put it on Clubhouse and let me get all this opportunity. Unfortunately, they realized that it's live audio. It's not really algorithmically curating. It's meant to be more of a community platform, not a content platform. So it didn't end up living up to the hype of being this place where you can turn into a famous superstar. I think Audia can live up to that hype.
How did they get to that point?
Which point?
Of millions of users in 3 months.
They got to that point because they had a couple things. So one, they had a big VC firm that hyped them up, put in $100 million into the company. So that made a lot of headlines. That got people excited about why this company is investing that much money. B, they got some big celebrities to join the product, or to at least use the product, like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, within the first couple of months of them launching. And then C, it was COVID time. Everyone was bored. Everyone was at home. So people downloaded the app and they tried something new. So they had a lot of external factors that played their way to get probably a lot of inorganic growth. It was just like random people that wanted to check it out, and that led to their growth. But now the company, you know, it's worth $4 billion, hasn't made a dime of revenue. I still think they can be a successful product, but it's ultimately proved out potentially to just be a passing thing. And I think the thing that stays if a product is successful is it offers something to consumers or creators that they can't get in other places. And I think the only thing that actually matters is distribution at that point. If you can give people distribution, your product will never die. Like, it will keep being said. Be Real is a product that's struggling right now because it's not giving people distribution. It's giving people connectivity with their friends. The question is, how feasible is that of a moat? Like, how much do you really care at the end of the day about that? But content creators, they're looking to publish their ideas every single day, every single second. And they want to get as many of them out there because they want to make money. They want to build their influence. And so that's a never-ending train. That's never going to die. And so if you can build a product in some medium, it doesn't have to be audio. It could be a bunch of different mediums to do it. And there's going to be many, many products over the next decade that end up allowing more distribution. TikTok is the prime example of something that came up that no one expected. Then I think it can hit massive scale. So I think we have a product that has the ability, and it's not the most, pristine product in the world. A lot of changes need to happen. It needs to get a lot of better. But the core idea is this is a home for audio content. This is a home for audio creators that are not getting discovery and distribution on other platforms, that probably will continue to not get discovery and distribution on other platforms. And if we can build the network effects within that platform in and of itself, then it hits massive scale. Just a question of if we can do it.